Alrighty.
All right, go, Mr. Alex. Go ahead. You're all set.
All right, welcome everybody to this month's training class. Today we're going to be talking about a really fun topic that I'm sure a lot of you guys are excited to learn about. And basically what we're going to be doing is showing you guys how to set appointments, showing you how we do it and what we found the most success with. So this is all going to be all about setting your first sales appointment, and then like annual reviews and stuff it will be the second half of the class. So of course, why isn't it working? Is it lagging? There we go. There's going to be two speakers today with a special guest at the end. Coach Jeremy, he's been with the IPS for a lot longer than I have. He's been there since the start, and I've been here about 8 years now, I think 7 or 8 years now. I'm Coach Alex. But one thing we always like to do when all these classes, just go over real quickly why we do what we do. And the whole thing is that we want to bring about a positive change in the industry. We want to help you guys be successful and really help families get back on track and get their financial priorities straight and really successful in that manner. So the whole thing is just helping you become the most trusted financial advisor in your local community so we can help our country get back on track and all over the world as well. So without further ado, Jeremy, I know you wanted to point this class, so take us away.
Yep. Thank you. I see a lot of new faces today. I guess this topic is popular because everybody signed up for it. So that's a great start. So I guess we're on point for once with the topic. But as I said before when we first started, I have some new coworkers here with me today. They may pop in, they may pop out. I have my great nieces and nephews, Alex's niece and nephew, Zach, Scarlett, Blake, and Lily. They range from 7 to 8 months, years old. So if you hear any loud background noise, it's probably them because they like to holler and scream and run up and down the stairs in my office. So, but what we're going to talk about today is, one of the things I find that we get calls about constantly is how do I set more appointments? How do I get appointments that stick? How do I get appointments that people are going to show up to? And how do I just set good quality appointments in general? Okay. So what I want to cover today is that topic. I want to give you some philosophies on the hows and whys, and then show you how to do it the easiest way. Okay. Nothing that's too mechanical, nothing that's too pre-done. It's just very natural flow of setting an appointment. All right. So one, we're going to teach you how to set appointments, not the type of people you talk to. If I'm talking too fast, please yell at me. I've had a lot of coffee today.
You're talking too fast, slow down.
Okay. In preparation for this class, I had too much coffee. So we're going to talk about how to set those appointments. Okay. We're going to show you how to do it. And in the end, we have a special guest who will explain how to set up annual and policy reviews. Mr. Corey Green's up with us today from Modern Women of America. He has a real great story he wants to share with you guys at the end of the class. So let's jump right into a quick disclaimer first. We will be role playing with fake information. We're gonna make things up on the fly. We're not using any pre-done cases with any kind of typical client. Me and Alex like to stump each other when we do these role play sessions. So you'll probably hear some oddball stuff come out of our mouths, trying to throw each other off, but nothing's related to any cases we've done. Everything is purely for role play purposes. All right. So the philosophy I want to teach first is, the biggest reason why people don't make appointments with you is because we're typically trying to sell product. We're typically trying to help them see why insurance is the best thing for their situation, or why an annuity is the perfect fit. If you want to help to set better appointments, you have to help people understand that they have a problem. If they don't see and understand the problem they face today, why is my thing doing that? And how you can help them, is there any reason for them to meet with you? And the answer is no. They're not going to meet you because you're a nice guy or gal. They want help. And if they feel that they're being maybe sold, they're not going to work with you. They want to feel help. They want to see where your compassion lies, where your knowledge base is to really understand their problem and get to the root of their problem. Does that make sense so far? All right. So setting the appointment is your first sale of the prospect. I hear a lot of guys say, I'm going to hire a telemarketer to do it for me. I'm going to teach my wife how to do it. I'm going to, whatever. It's always somebody else, they're passing the buck to somebody else. The first That's a bad background noise. Um, the first appointment you're setting is the first sale. So you need to sell them on why they should work with you. And that's a very critical part.
Yeah, real quick before you move on, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is your first chance of making contact with a potential client. So you want to set the tone early of what's it going to be like to work with you and how you're going to help them. And if you're not doing it yourself and if you're not doing it properly, you're really missing a huge opportunity here that's going to establish that rapport and help you move forward.
That's the thing, is it's really helping to understand why. If there's no why, there can be no solution. If there's no problem, there's no solution to anything. People want to meet with people they want to work with, people that can help them with a problem. Think about it. When you make an appointment to see anything, to do anything in life, why do you make an appointment? Because you have a problem, right? We go to the doctors. Why do we go to the doctors? Well, we have high blood pressure. We gotta get our meds, right? That's a problem. We go to a dentist. We call the dentist last minute because our teeth hurt. They're falling out. Now we need to get a tooth pulled. We make appointments for all these things that are problem based. So if people are accustomed to making appointments that are problem based, then we should be helping them see a problem of why they want to meet with us. Does that make sense?
It's all about showing them what's in it for them. So
Absolutely.
like what's in it for me is it's something we bring up a lot, but at the end of the day, there's no such thing as a free lunch, and people want to know what's in it for them. Like, why should they meet with you? Like, how are you going to help them? How is their situation going to change? What problem are you going to solve for them? That's all the things you want to be thinking about when you're trying to set an appointment.
Yeah. I mean, in the last, 20 some years of training agents, the biggest problem I see most agents are trying to do is they're trying to convince people on why they should meet with them, telling them why it's important or how great their product is. When I look at, I hate calling out companies, but like NAA, Symmetry, Prime America, these companies are just pushing product. You have companies like the WFGs out there that are trying to convince people of why the IUL is the best thing since sliced bread. Well, if you try to convince people, you're a salesperson. You're trying to sell them since minute one you're talking to them, and people don't like dealing with salespeople. Period. I mean, how many salespeople do you guys like working with? Besides me. We don't refer each other to other people. We don't refer to other salespeople. We refer to people that are going to be able to help each other. And that's what we want to help that point across, is we're here to help our prospects, that we want to help better the situation. Not because we want to make a buck doing it, because we really care about their situation. And we happen to get paid for what we do. That's not a bad thing. All right? So if you really want people to set an appointment with you, then you must reach them on an emotional level. You have to help them see the problem they have. The problem is a pain. What problems do our products solve for people? Well, one, if I was to die, my kids would be taken care of. If I were to become sick, disabled, and I had, if I was doing DI sales, that I'm helping people solve replacing income if I wasn't here. So you have to get people on an emotional basis to want to solve the problem.
Yeah, and Jeremy hit that final sentence. I just want to make sure you guys really heard that. Is you have to reach them on an emotional level because you have to get them to want to take action. Because everyone knows they need to do stuff, but until they want to do something, they're not going to do anything. So that's the first step, and you get them to want it by reaching out on an emotional basis, getting them emotionally involved. It's a term we use a lot, and that's the key.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, I know I'm a big dude. I'm 300 pounds at this point. Actually, I've lost 25 pounds, so doing good. So, one thing I've always been told is, Jeremy, you need to lose weight. And I'm always been told what I had to do. Always been told, Jeremy, you need to lose weight. You're gonna die if you don't lose weight. You're gonna blah blah, whatever the excuse was. And I just kind of said, I'll do it when I'm ready to do it. I have to want to do it. But if you go about it a different way with people, so if we tell people they need insurance, what happens? If they reject the idea, it's something, because when someone tells you anything, you have two reactions to it. You can accept it or reject it. And most people go with the rejection. It's easier. It's a way out. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to be sold anything. But if you help people see the problem and get them to think about how it affects them, then they want to take action. And I'm going to show you that technique in a few seconds here. So you have to get them to think about the problem they're facing, and you must get them to take ownership of the problem so they want you to fix it. And that's the big thing. So how do you do that? How do you get them to take ownership? How do you get them to see the problem? And that's all through questions. All through asking questions. You can't tell them anything. If you tell them, the minute you tell people anything, you're just a salesperson. I was just talking to one of my agents a few minutes ago who's a 30-year veteran in the industry. And I go through it, I role play with him every Thursday at 2:00, and we go through these conversations, trying to help him, as he put it, and this is the quote he gave me today, you're teaching an old dog new tricks. And it's true, because I'm trying to rewire his brain to put in a better position of what he's trying to accomplish. So he's been put in this cast as just a salesperson mold for so long because he's telling people everything rather than get them to, figure out what the next transition is. And I'm having to break down the core concept, which is the simplest thing in the world once you understand it. And it's asking the right questions. Because when you ask a well thought out, well structured question, people will answer it. It gets them thinking. So back to the whole weight loss thing, as an example, I've been told for years, you lose weight. We've all been told that at one point or another. More than likely, the country is as obese as this country is, it probably happens. But when you're told something, you reject it. I know I did for a long time until something changed. And then I had to make it a one. I had a problem, I had to fix it. And now that I have that problem, I have to fix it. Now I want to do it. But if they would have came about a different way initially and asked, rather than telling me, hey, you need to lose weight, and gone about saying, hey, Mr. Jeremy, if you lost, how would you feel if you lost 20 or 30 pounds? Will that allow you to spend more time with your kids and grandkids? Will that allow you to keep doing the activities you want to do? Would that alleviate some of the pain you're having? How would you feel about that? The button, it clicks that, yeah, I obviously I'd feel better if I did this stuff. And it's hitting that point home that unless I make a change, and unless they help me see that I want to do it, or not only I need to do it, but want to do it, then I'm not going to do it. Does that make sense? So that's the basic premise of what we're going to talk about today, is using some conversations on how to get people emotionally involved, how to get people to want to meet with you. All right. So first, I want to share this with you. All the following stuff, all these following conversation pieces are on the Setting Appointments tab on the Resource Center. If you're not a member of the Resource Center, I highly recommend it. But they're all there for you. Today, we're going to cover two different scripts. One you should know by now. We've done a bunch of calls on this. It's not the mortgage script. It's a different script that, because there's two different marks I want to help you focus on. I'm going to teach you, so I'll go through that in a second here. And I'm going to share a new script I've never shared in a class before, because it's not a script. It's not a written out script, okay? Because I want to show you how easy this really is, okay? Now, I've been asking questions for over 20 years. That's what I've been doing this a long time, but this is something every single one of this class can do if you just learn the real basics. Okay. And the chorus piece of this is helping people see the problem. All right. Now, so there's two different markets, two different ways I help people build businesses. Okay. One is through the warm market, friends, family, people you do business with, people you know, like, and trust already. And this is the easiest way to get appointments with them. Okay. And it's not selling them anything. Because I hear every day, we just were on this a couple of days ago that, I've abused my warm market. I've sold them everything I can sell them. I've gone to the well too many times. That's never the case. Because if your friends and family truly value you, they'll help you. So Alex, I'm going to let you, I know this is one of the things you want to talk about. So I'm going to let you jump on here and ask some questions and show them how this is done.
Absolutely. So this is, like I said, that I don't really follow a script. I just have a conversation with my friend, and it's going to be a little bit different based on how well I know the particular person I'm talking to. Let's say I'm talking to Jeremy, and I don't know, I haven't known Jeremy since I was 2. But let's just say he's like one of my best friends. I'm like, hey, Jeremy, as you know, I work in the financial profession, and I've actually just acquired 2 new trainers that are showing me a new way of helping families in our area. And I was wondering, is it okay if I just ask you some questions and talk to you? Is that way you can see what I'm doing and how I'm doing? Just give me some feedback and see what I can do better.
Absolutely.
And that's as simple as it is. And I say, can you meet next Thursday? Or can you meet Tuesday? Whatever. And just ask him about the time. And you can ask that. You can ask for that help about 20 different ways. You can say, hey, we've known each other for so long, for X and Y time, and let's say you're brand new to the industry. Well, I don't know if you know this, Jeremy, but I just got into a new industry where I'm learning how to help families. All right, and I'm not too confident about it yet. So if I may, I would like to practice on you and your wife and get your honest feedback at the end. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I just need your honest feedback. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All you're doing is just however you talk with your friends and your family or whatever, all you're doing is just doing exactly what I did, explaining that I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm learning something new, and that thing I'm learning is about how to help families. So you're not saying, oh, I'm learning how to sell insurance. Don't say that. That's bad. Show them, hey, like, I'm trying to help people, and I need your help to make sure I'm doing it the right way. And that's all it is. And you can use that script however you want to. It's just a conversation asking for help. That's why we call it the help script.
Mm-hmm. And I hate scripts. I've made this clear in numerous calls. I hate scripts with a passion. Have a conversation with people. Learn the technique. And if you ask a few basic questions, people are going to flock to you that want your help. And the help script, help conversation. I'm going to retitle that packet, Alex, because I'm tired of calling it a script. It's so simple because you can do it outside 1,000 different ways. And again, you're making it your own. You want to bring it to how you feel about helping people, how you conversate with people, and use that as your advantage. And what I mean by that is, me and Alex we can look at the same script or the same list of questions, and we'll do it 10 different ways each. We never do the same twice because everything's a fluid conversation. So if I flow this back at Alex a different way, hey Alex, this is Jeremy. I'm starting to learn some new stuff that I'm really focused on helping people, pay off their home 5 to 15 years early, but I need some help. Will you be willing to help me?
Absolutely. How can I help?
Yeah, so I need someone to practice on because again, I'm learning a whole bunch of new stuff, and I just need somebody who can be mean to me and give me some honest feedback. And I really value your opinion. Would you be willing to help me do that?
Absolutely.
It's a no-brainer because the people that we know, like, trust, and care about us the same way, and they'll do whatever we ask them to do. A lot of times, there's very few times I've ever been told no asking for help. And if I have, it's my brother just being a jerk. You know, Alex is the same way. His brother's a jerk, so they do the same thing to him. So it happens. But 90% of the time, they're gonna say, "Yeah, I'll be whatever you need me to do."
And I'll tell you guys, don't overthink this script. And don't. It's as simple as how we just made it. And just be just be yourself. Like, don't try to be something you're not. Don't be a robot and just read off everything. That's why I hate scripts, because people can see the genuineness and feel it. And if you're not being that, then it's gonna scare them away. And the other half is, yes, it's that simple, and this script does work. My first appointments I set in this industry were using this exact script. And I'll tell you, the best thing is like, I went in with like not even gonna sell them anything, and he's like, "Wow, that's really cool. Will this work?" And I ended up getting, it was my first IUL sale off this exact script. I ended up doing a fact find twice because I actually made him use different numbers the first time.
Yep. It's true story, guys. It's that simple. That simple. And I mean, these people are the first people he wrote weren't even prime suspects, not even our prime target market, and he killed it. And that's what happens. People come at the end and say, if you did a good job, you really focused on the problems, not the product, you know, and you focus on helping people see what their issues are, they'll come back and say, well, will this really work for me? No, that isn't going to work for you. You know, they're asking to buy. You know, how many times in your life in sales has someone ever asked you to sell me something? It doesn't happen. You know, using these strategies, it's that simple. Just don't overthink it and just be yourself when you're doing it. All right, so that's the first script. Okay, now, like I said, I hate scripts with a passion. Okay, so I'm going to pull something on the screen here you guys have probably seen in the Resource Center. And I know I've had tons of calls about this and over the past 15 years or so. And it's called the Personal Financial Survey. All right, and some of you have probably seen this on the Resource Center. Some of you have actually called me about it and said, well, how do I use it? How do I do this survey? How do I, it doesn't matter. It's a conversation starter. So when you're calling people, meeting with people face to face, seeing them on the street corner, doing a Zoom meeting, it's all the same. It's helping them see a problem they have. Okay. So if you look at all these different topics here, are all these topics what the average family or average person struggles with?
And you can replace the word struggles with wants help with.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sorry.
These are all problems that the average family is facing that no one else is really talking to them about.
Yeah. I mean, who's out there helping families right now? There's not very many agents that do what we do, first and foremost, okay? And then you have, I hate to put the PNC guys, the large shop PNC guys, the big five. They're not really focused on solving problems. They're focused on placing products. And the majority of their business is term. You have guys like Prime America companies. You have the NAAs, which are selling term and death benefit based IULs and whole lives, small scale. No one's out there really focusing on the problem first. They're just trying to put product in place. More protection, final expense. It's all the same stuff. Where if you just take it a step further and take an extra inch, you can make amazing headway with people. So Alex, I'm gonna pull a question off here, and we'll just go.
Okay.
And like we said, I do not like scripts. I have nothing written down. I wish I could. I have nothing in my desk. I have this screen pulled up. That's all I have. Okay. And it's just a matter of just thinking about what the next logical step is. It's all about asking the who, what, where, when, how, and why questions to get the problem exposed. So, Mr. Alex, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is Jeremy with Fond Money Consultants, and if you don't mind, can I ask you a few questions?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Um, you know, do you have a mortgage on your home?
No.
No. Okay. So I assume you're renting a home then, or do you have the
Correct.
home paid off? Okay, so you're renting, and you know, are you planning on buying a home in the near future, or are you just going to keep renting forever?
I would like to. Yeah, I'm still saving up enough money for it.
Okay. And how much do you have saved so far?
About 10,000.
About 10,000. So how far away are you from buying your first home?
About halfway.
About halfway. And has anyone ever showed you how you can save money on a faster basis?
No.
No. So let me ask you, do you think if you could save more money in the next 6 to 8 months that you could buy your home even faster?
Absolutely.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, do you have a lot of consumer debt at all, or credit cards, car loans, that kind of stuff?
I have no credit card debt, but I do have my car loan.
Okay. And how much do you owe on your car, if you don't mind me asking?
About 12,000.
About 12,000. And are you making any extra payments on that car right now? Or are you just paying what's owed?
I put about an extra $100 a month towards it,
Okay.
trying to get it paid off a little faster.
A little faster. Okay. So, so if we could show you some different strategies to help you pay off your car faster, help you save a little more money, in a faster clip so you can buy your home even sooner, would you be willing to sit down and talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
With there's 1,000 ways you can go from there. Is there any time next week you can sit down and talk?
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming we can go on to the next one from there.
Yeah.
Because people know how to do that.
Yeah, that's the easy part.
And just as a quick turnaround, and just to show you a little bit differently than I would do it than Jeremy, was let's say Jeremy's renting. So we'll go through the same thing again, and I'm gonna take it a little differently.
Okay.
So Jeremy, do you currently have I'll just take it from this spot. Jeremy, do you currently have a mortgage on your home?
No.
No. So are you renting then, or is your home paid off?
I'm renting.
Renting? Awesome. Well, Jeremy, let me ask you: if something were to happen to you today and your family lost your income, what would happen?
They'd be in deep doo-doo.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
Not good.
All right. Well, let me ask you: do you have any insurance or anything that would replace your income if something were to happen?
I have some group term through work.
Great. How much do you have?
About 1 year of my salary, so about 100K.
So it lasts them about a year then, and then after that ran out, what would they do?
Not sure.
All right. Well, let me ask you, if I could show you how to get the insurance you need so you would be sure about your family's financial security in the future, would it be worth 10 minutes to sit down and talk about?
Absolutely.
And that's all it is.
And with that note, the student has surpassed the teacher.
Well, most of my friends rent, so I've had that conversation a lot.
Yes, I don't ever have that conversation anymore. That's as simple as it is, guys. It's just following, helping them see what the issue is. Alex went right into life insurance. Kind of talking about what happens if we run out of money. What are they going to do? You can do it with Social Security. You can do it with you can do it with retirement income. You can do it with lots of different things. Every question on this sheet gives you a path to follow. This is one of my favorite talks to talk about people with. So Alex, introduction's already done, blah, blah, blah. Matter of fact, a few questions, blah, blah, blah. Alex, I'm asking, how old are you?
I don't know what age you want me to be. 35.
35, okay. And have you given much thought to whether, Social Security will be there when you retire or not?
Honestly, it's something that greatly worries me because the system isn't doing well right now.
No, I mean, have you looked at your recent statement?
No, I have no idea how to do that.
Okay, well, if you go to socialsecurity.gov, blah, 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 and you can log in your statement, but when you print out the statement, it has this really great saying in the middle of it. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Okay, well, what it basically says is, I know on mine, it says by the year 2037, I'll be only receive 75% of my scheduled benefit. So if you don't want me asking, could you live on 25% less income in retirement? How would you feel about that?
It's definitely not what I want to have to do.
No, none of us want to live on less income, right? So if we can show you how to create your own personal pension plan that will help you replace that lost earnings from Social Security, would be interested in talking about it?
Yeah, but I don't have any extra money right now. There's no way I can put more money away.
Well, what if we can show you how to do it with no money out of pocket?
Well, that'd be cool. How do you do that?
I don't know until we sit down and talk.
All right.
Have a conversation. That's all it comes down to is getting people to really think about how it affects their situation. What would happen if Social Security wasn't there when you retired in general? What would you do? You can go, I like going to deeper questions. Alex does a little differently than I do, but we all do it a little differently. Well, I have some background noise I'm trying to mute here. Okay. So just have the conversation. It's the who, what, where, when, how, and why questions that elicit the emotional responses from the prospects. Does that make sense? Do we have any questions so far?
We just had one pop up, Jeremy. With Social Security, what about if you're talking to someone who's over 60?
Ooh, that's fun. That's fun. I go at it a little differently. For someone who's over 60 that hasn't started claiming yet, I'll ask them, how do you feel about the amount of money you're going to receive from Social Security in retirement?
It's just free. It's this money I put in, so I'd like to get as much as I can.
Yeah. So if you could get more, would you want to know how?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, are you aware? I mean, most people don't know this, but are you aware you get an 8% credit every year you defer Social Security?
Actually, I didn't know that.
What would an extra 8% mean to you and your family?
I mean, that's one more trip each year. So.
Yeah, or more, right? So if we can show you how to get that 8% and still retire when you want to retire, something you want to know about?
Absolutely.
And I get the appointment. It's done. So I can take a step further and go. So based on, if you're 60 now, when do you plan on retiring?
65.
65. So you got 5 years to retirement. And do you think, your Social Security is going to be enough when you retire at 65?
No, but I have some savings through work. So
Okay.
I have a 401k through work.
Okay. And how's that doing for you?
Not really sure. I just kind of put it, just some money gets taken out of my check each week and it just gets saved in there.
Okay. Well, so you're putting away something at least. That's better than most folks are doing right now. So how much income do you think you'll need in retirement?
Probably at least as what I'm making now.
Okay.
It's about 8,000.
About 8,000 a month?
80,000 a year.
80,000 a year. Okay. So, and how much do you think you're going to receive in Social Security benefits?
Probably about 30.
About 30? Okay. So how much better off would you be if we could increase that, your Social Security savings by 8% a year for the next 5 years?
That'd be good.
That'd be good, right? You want to know more, right?
Yeah.
When can we get together and talk about it?
There it is. Yep. And the flip side of that is you could also go into the other side of the conversation. Well, you said you need $80,000 and you're only getting 30 from Social Security. Well, where's the other 50 going to come from? The money in your 401k, it's all at risk. What happens if the market takes a downturn before then? If we can guarantee that you'll never lose a dime in there, how much better off would you be? You can attack it from either side. It's just where the conversation goes.
Yeah, it's just keeping it simple. Don't overthink it and just follow a conversation. We all know what problems our clients face. If we're doing our marketing appropriately, we're focusing on the people that have the same 2 or 3 problems that we're marketing towards. And those are the hot buttons. So asking the questions that revolve around those to open the conversation is going to be the easiest way to do it. Does that make sense?
We have a couple of questions. Somebody asked, what happens during the 10-minute conversation? That was a slip up by me. I meant to say 15 or 60. A lot of times I'll say 15 minutes just to get them to sit down with me. And I'll start my normal fact find. And at the 15 minutes, I was like, hey, I only asked for 15 minutes. Would you like me to keep going? Or is there a better time we can sit down and finish this? As far as, and then somebody asks, does that make sense?
Another question
does, but I don't have
was,
things.
yeah. Another question was that, is this a new fact finder? No, this is the personal retirement survey. It's on the Resource Center. We're using it as a prop, just kind of showing you can build a script or have a conversation about any point. You know, any problematic question can produce a conversation to have.
Yeah, right? So this is all about just using this to set appointments. So just following this up with an appointment.
Yeah.
To have that conversation to set the appointment, sorry.
Yeah. And the last one is, what about someone who is 64 who has taken Social Security because everyone around them told them to take it? Okay, so that can be a fun one. That is a conversation that can really be a great sales point. You know, so it's just a matter of asking some similar questions.
Yeah, it's basically you're just going towards the other side of it. Because you can't change it once you've already taken, but we can help them increase their income elsewhere.
Well, not true. Not true.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. So, you know, so already knows. And I was talking to one of my agents yesterday about this. You know, she had a client who'd started taking Social Security, didn't realize that she could defer it, you know, for 4 or 5 years because her friends told her to. And you can stop it if you can pay it back and restart your calculation. So if you're 64, you took Social Security, you know, you're in month or two in the first year, whatever, if you can pay that money back of what you received, you can go back and defer it again. Okay, so there is a do-over of sorts, but you have to pay the money back. You know, so if you're 2 or 3 years in, it's going to be tough to pay that much money back unless you're independently wealthy. So things to think about, but typically once people start it, it's kind of locked in. That's what kind of way we try to keep it, because it gets messy from there, telling them how to pay it back and re-amending taxes, and it's all into chaos. So, but you know, when it comes to, you know, Social Security, the conversations are simple because it's usually a fixed amount. You know, people already claimed it. They're already comfortable with it. So now it's just, you know, how can we fix the problem? What problem is there because of it? Yes, you took it early, you took it 64, now you took a 8% or 16% hit, potentially, depending on your retirement age. You know, there's some issues there. You know, so if we had the money to pay it back and we could restart it at 66, 70, defer it and get those another 30% more, how much better off would you be? You know, so there are different conversations that can be had. So I'm distracted by the chat message. You know, so it's a matter of just really helping them see what problem they have. You know, is it bad they took Social Security early? No, they turned it on when they needed it. You know, so what can we do to offset it? How can we make it? How can we fix the situation other ways? You know, so a conversation I would have with people is, you know, yeah, you took it early, not much we can do to change it, but what is the problem what you're having? You know, what is it what issue you're trying to solve here? Do you not have enough income now in retirement? Do you feel like you're burning through too much of your assets too fast? So are you more worried about what you're getting, or more worried about what, you know, outlive your income and outlive your assets? How do you feel about both of those? Does those thoughts scare you? If we can show you how to guarantee your income, take advantage of the Social Security you do have, and guarantee something that you never outlive, is that something you want to be able to do?
Oh, Jeremy?
Yeah.
That first question, do you have a professional that you trust and so on. Can you role play that with Alex? I mean, how would you go off into questioning with that?
I'd have to be in another point first before I go into that question. That would not be something I open with. That would be never a question I open with. That's more of a question. I don't know why that's even on here, to be honest. Because I mean, if I was into a conversation with someone that I'm talking about retirement, Social Security, any kind of other area first, then I might ask them, do you have a professional you work with who helps you with your financial situations or financial problems already? If I want to have that conversation. So typically, it's not a conversation I want to have. So I'm going to go in. I don't want to be trying to beat up their other advisor. I want to get in the door and show them what else I can do that their advisor isn't doing for them already, and let my work speak for itself. That's
you never want to bring up the competition, because you just bring it into their mind. Now on the flip side, if they don't have someone, it does create a nice little conversation there. So if let's say I don't, well, how do you feel about that? Has anyone ever talked to you about how to get the retirement you've dreamed of? Is that something that's important to you? And just follow in that conversation from there. But if they say yes, well, that's not a conversation you want to have.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, this flyer, I originally designed this. So everybody's a little backstory on where this came from. I was using this at a boat show. I had bought it. I had received a ticket to this massive boat show in Florida that was huge. It's like 10,000 boats or something on sale. So it's mostly people with a lot of money. And this was in Stuart, Florida back in 1999, 2000-ish. So I got bored trying to think of something new to do. And so I wrote this survey. And that's the question I would use because most of these people already had advisors. They were independently wealthy already. So I was trying to kind of knock out the ones that already had an advisor first and look for the low-hanging fruit. That's the whole story behind that question. That's not something I typically open with in a normal situation. It was very specialized, very niche. Okay. We had two other questions come in. I heard Social Security cuts are now planned for 2034, but they're talking about 2028. Every year it changes. It's constantly, because the system's already out of money, right? The amount they're paying out is more than they're bringing in already. So the Social Security trust funds and now this whole deferment right now of FICA taxes is just making it worse. Okay, so it's going to continue to get worse until the institute will make a change to the Social Security, and the change is going to happen. Governor Chris Christie talked about it almost 4 years ago to this day, or almost 5 years ago, I guess now. Is they're going to institute means testing. It's already written in the law. It's already on the books to do it. So what that means for a lot of your families is if you have, well, let me ask you, what is the one thing that government can see 100% of what every client has? That's their qualified funds, right? That's their qualified money. They have full access to it. The government can seize it if they want to, right? So if you have this money in your qualified accounts, the government has complete purview of it. When they institute means testing, the people that have done well in their 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, SEPs, KEHOs, IRAs, all the funky alphabet soup stuff, are going to have the Social Security reduced even further versus the people that have money hidden in life insurance and other investments that are not as reportable. So means testing is definitely on the path of it's coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when it does come, it probably won't affect the people that are retiring the next 10 years. But if you're retiring 10 years or more out, it's gonna hurt, because people are gonna get taken off guard by it. So All right. Does the Frank Dodd bill come into play with the means testing? I'd have to review the law again. I don't remember. I haven't read that bill in a long time. But I think it was prior to the Dodd-Frank bill. All right. Another question: what happens if I'm talking about retirement life insurance and I tell them they just bought life insurance and they already have an agent, but they had a concern with the questions I asked them, i.e., long-term care? So, you always going to run into cases where people already bought life insurance, but typically when people buy life insurance, what are they buying?
Term.
They're buying term. So even if they bought something from another agent, I don't even care because I can replace it. Or they can keep it. I can put additional coverage in place. So if they already bought an IUL, great. I'm not going to replace it. I'm going to add more if I deem it necessary. Great. I'm glad they bought something. I may help them restructure it. Sometimes in this business, there are sales being made. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's large sales. Sometimes there's service work. It comes and goes. But I'm under the firm belief, and this is something we talk about every class, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want in the end. Right? So even though, hey, they already have a life policy, great. How much did you buy? Let's look at it. Is it funded properly? Which most time is not funded properly. They buy them at Target or buy them at just a hair over minimum. So it's a matter of just, can we reissue something better? Can we do we have to replace it? Which, if it's a crashing policy or not sold properly, I will replace it occasionally, not very often. Or what can I do to help them better the situation?
At the end of the day, them already having bought is honestly a good thing. They already buy into the concept. It's already something they agree with. They already understand everything. But there's going to be other things that they need help with. Like, I don't know, in your question, you said like they were concerned about long-term care. Well, at the end of the day, you're still going to do a full fact find them, and you're going to ask them about what the policy they already bought, but also every other part of the financial situation, because each is a puzzle piece of the final picture that we're trying to get them to. So we need to know about all of it.
So we're going to jump onto our special guest next. I know he's been chomping the bit to get talking here. So Alex, I'm going to let you introduce Mr. Corey, and we'll go through that.
Yeah. So Corey Green. Why isn't it working? Yep.
Sorry.
There we go. He started with us in March of this year, right as COVID was really starting to ramp up and people were starting to slow down. A couple of things about him was he's a lifetime resident of South Carolina. I know he graduated from my local area where I grew up in South Carolina. He went to Clemson University, which is about 10 miles west of where I grew up. But yeah, he really values his community. He really wants to help give back to it, which is something that we really identified with from the first time we talked with him. And which is kind of what I want to bring up here is he's an agent with Modern Woodmen, and when we first met him, he was doing well. But unfortunately, when COVID hit, things started to really slow down. Everything was going south fast. That's happened to a lot of us back then, and it's still happening to some of us. So he wanted to give us a call, and he ended up talking to Lou. And so, Corey, if you don't mind me asking to you, what happened on that first call with Lou?
What happened with that first, like prior to that, I was having a hard time, like Jeremy mentioned at the beginning, I was had a hard time setting appointments. And but when I got a chance to talk to Lou, he said the first thing he said, what you got to do is you got to talk to them as like your best friend or your friend, and let them talk about what they want to talk about, and just ask them how's it going. Like the script. I mean, the script. He says the reason I'm calling you is because of what's going on things in the world. And one of the questions I would ask, or just depends on how they respond. I said, are you concerned about your finances? Because I know a lot of people were. Are you set all financially, or are you concerned about losing your job, or what would happen to you lose your job? It just depends on how the conversation goes. I'll pivot to the next question or whatever. And then I would ask him, is there any time in the next 2 weeks that we can go over your policies or perhaps show you something new and make sure everything's up to date? And I would say close to probably over well over 90%. I've been sitting down with them. And before I started working with you, I was not bonusing, but I've been bonusing every single month since, I guess it's 6 or 5 months now. Is that right?
Yeah.
March, April, June. So, and talking to people is such a relief. I'm not selling anything. I'm just having a conversation. In the IPS Pro Shop, and I'm using the Found Money Management System. You know, it's Mr. Real Deal. I recommend it to anybody who's sitting on the fence about it. So it totally changed my business around. And plus, I got this month I got 2 big cases I should be closing soon, and that's from the residue from early. I mean, I guess April, May, and stuff like that. And I still got some out there. So, and it's all about, like you say, having a conversation. And yeah, everybody needs stuff, but you got to find out what they want and talk about what they want to talk about.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about, just having a conversation with people. And that's what Lou told them. It was just, go through the situation with them. Find the problem they have. What are they concerned about? And then help them see that you can help them fix it. It's as simple as it gets, guys. Now, I'm not going to ask you to put any numbers out. I know you called me after the first month of doing that. I remember you called me one day and said, Jeremy, I hit 8,000 in AP for the week. And I was so excited the day you told me that, because it was, you were so glowing with excitement from it. I mean, you were just all pumped up, and it was awesome. And I love seeing, when we're able to help an agent and really show them what we've done and what we use and how simple it is, and it clicks. And it just becomes so easy. Like you said, you're setting up appointments, and 90% of people you talk to, you're sitting down, they're buying, you're closing large cases. It's the simplest. It's a simple process.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest problem we all have as agents, the biggest problem is between our own ears. It's 100% of the problem. We want to overthink it, make it harder than it is. If you just talk to people, and I'll give you an example. And I wouldn't recommend doing this, but this is something I was taught when I first got into business by a guy who'd been in business 30 plus years, not my dad, before I listened to him. And he said, if you ask 100 people if they want to buy life insurance, one of them will say yes. So it's. All right, I think I got that. Alex, go ahead and unmute yourself. Corey, go ahead and unmute. I'll ask me to unmute. Okay, so I don't know what that background noise was. I think it was Kevin. So, but if you ask enough people if they want to buy something, they'll buy something eventually, right? Now, don't go out and do that. You can stand in the corner and ask people to buy life insurance. I think it was Ben Feldman who said that originally. But if you ask people the right questions and get them to think about how it affects the situation, they're going to want to fix it. And it's so simple. And I've been training this for 20 some years now, and it's always the same answer I get. It's so simple once it clicks. I remember the story of Mr. Tony Filippone. We've talked about him numerous times in these calls. And one of the biggest posts he sent on our forum years ago, this is back in 06, 07, I guess. He was a mortgage guy, selling mortgage insurance, making $40,000, $50,000 a year, doing well, not doing bad. By adding a few techniques we taught him, he started to get up to 80,000. He was excited, thrilled, double his income. And then it clicked. It finally just clicked one day that he was supposed to do a fact find with everybody. And once he did that, once that point clicked that, hey, I need to ask the right questions. I need to get people emotionally involved. I need to help them see the problem they have. He doubled his sales again. And today he sits around, a very high 6-figure income every year, working less hours than he did back then, a lot less hours. So I know for a lot of us, making $30,000, $40,000, that's what the average agent makes in a year, is not enough. It's peanuts. We all want to hit that 100,000 mark or more. And I'm not one of those guys that wants to go out and set the world on fire and make $1 million a year. That's not me. I want to make a comfortable living. If I can make the income I want, 100, 200,000, and work 20 hours or work, a week or less, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to have fun. I want to go to the beach, go jet skiing, and go play with the grandkids and take them to the park in Orlando and stuff like that. That's more important than money is. But if you want to make $1 million a year, this will help you do that. It will help you on both ends of it. I know we had Ryan and Ray on our class last week, and I remember asking them because, when we first got started, they were saying, we're making, we're on pace to make 400,000, 500,000 this year. They're making great money, but they kept asking me, when am I going to slow down? When am I going to have to stop working so hard? And that was about a year ago, I guess they asked me that. And at this last class, I asked him, I said, how many hours you work in a week now, Ryan? He says, maybe 30 hours a week. So you cut your time in half of what you were working, is what you're telling me. Because you've learned to do the question technique. You've now ingrained it in your personality. You've ingrained it in your psyche, and now it becomes second nature to you to do. And now you're making a high six-figure income and working less hours a week than most agents. That's pretty good. He goes, I never thought of it that way. And it's the truth. If you focus on helping people get what they want, helping people see what they want, because people don't do what they need, they do what they want. If we all did what we needed, we'd have one car, one TV, a small house. We wouldn't have a 3,000 square foot house. We wouldn't have a TV in every bedroom. We wouldn't have 2 or 3 cars, one for each family member, whatever. This is we want to do that. So if we want to help people, if we want to make them our incomes we want to make, we want to sell a policy we want to sell, we have to help people want to do it. We have to get people to understand the problem they face and help them take ownership so they want to make progress in their lives. All right. So I'm gonna shut up now. I'm gonna ask if any more questions coming in. Again, Mr. Corey, thank you for coming on and sharing today. I know you're busy, but we really appreciate you coming on and talking with us. I think.
No, thank you and Alex and of course Lou. Yeah. And the boot camp was excellent too, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, we're transitioning. I'll throw this out there to you guys, everybody so knows. We're doing, because of the COVID thing, we're not doing live boot camps right now. We're doing them virtually in one-day sessions. I can't sit at a desk on video for 8 hours. So we've been doing over a 2-day period. So, just nonstop. So we're breaking into smaller sections to make it more feasible for everybody to do. Our next one is next week. We're doing the one-day marketing class. So if you need help on getting your marketing business up and running and finding more prospects, definitely check that out. It's on our IPS Pro Shop store page. But other than that, again, thank you, Mr. Corey. If you need additional help on this, a lot of you guys are Resource Center members. A lot of it's on there, but I don't want to be a salesperson. That's not what I've ever wanted to do. I wanted to be able to help people. So I'm going to tell you 4 places you can get help. Okay. 1, you can read everything you can about consultative selling. Consultative selling, adaptive selling, question selling, all the same topic. Okay. I asked, for those who have heard of the name David Kinder. David's been a great friend of ours and a great endorsement of ours for a long time. I asked him, David, if you had to give people one book to read, one thing that they could change how they process this business, this is the book he said, The Greatest Network in the World by John Milton Fogg. Now, he gave me some notes on chapters 6, 7, and 8, I believe, of the book. I have never read this book, to be honest. So one thing David did is he sent me a copy of the book, okay, a PDF of the book. Everybody on the call is going to get an email from me today with the copy of that book, okay? So it's a free resource. I've never read it again. I know Lou has. I know David speaks really highly of it. I'm going to read it this weekend. That's something that's going to really help you learn more of these techniques to really help you conversate better with people, okay? There's more information on the resource. Like I said, you can watch previous webinars and classes on question selling. There's a couple see how it's done, a couple scripting classes, and then the whole appointment setting section on the resource center, okay? You can purchase an asking questions one-day class recording. We did that about a month ago. We had that one-day training first when we did. The training is actually discounted if you want to buy the recording. So give Alex a call or me a call and help you get that taken care of if you want to move forward with that. Or like all things, purchase the How to Close on 10 video training that goes through everything. You know, it's a very inexpensive price point. I want to say it's $249 right now or maybe less. And that's going to give you 8.5 hours of video training on asking questions, doing the presentation pieces, the whole nine. All right. So I'm going to stop pitching and start answering other questions from you guys. And I'll put this out there too. You know, if you guys need help, if you're not sure what to ask, how to ask it, call us. You know, I spend half my week now is probably role playing. I know Alex spends a lot of time role playing with agents. We love doing it. And sometimes you can catch Lou on the phone. And if you get the chance to role play with Lou, you're in for a treat. Because there's no one better than him. He's the master of this. As people call him, the silver-tongued devil of questioning. But yeah, I mean, if you need help, you know, we're always here to help you guys. So take advantage, you know, call us, role play, send us emails, you know, we'll definitely get back to everybody. If you have some time, there's some things that are happening right now, but you know, we are here to help you. So anything you want to add, Alex?
No, just don't be afraid to reach out. We're always available. 5-minute questions are very easy to take quickly. So don't be afraid or anything like that. So
All right.
'cause the only thing we do is help you guys all day long. Bear in mind there is only 2 of us or 3 of us when Lou's around.
Yeah.
So sometimes we can't always be right there, but we try to do our best to always get back to you.
Yep. So if you guys have questions, unmute yourselves. You know, don't be shy. There's no dumb questions. Unless you're Alex, he asks dumb questions sometimes. I give him
Guilty.
crap about that in the office all the time. But unmute yourself, ask us, talk. You know, I see lots of new people in the class that I have not seen before in a class. So again, thank you guys for coming out today. I guess this topic resonated with everybody. So we're going to definitely do more of these and, you know, ask away.
Jeremy, what was the marketing workshop you had talked about?
We have a one-day marketing workshop next Friday. It's $249, Alex? $299?
Yeah, $249 unless you've already attended a class.
If you already attended a class before, I think is that Bob I'm talking to?
It is.
Yeah. So if we've already attended the workshop, the 2-day training,
Yep.
you can attend the one day for $149. So it's about half the price. Yeah, but it's a one-day class on marketing, just going through the whole process, talking about, you know, finding the right prospects, finding, you know, who the ideal prospects are, how to communicate with them, everything from start to finish.
I have a question for Corey.
Mhm.
Corey, have you been successful with virtual marketing? Is that what you've been doing since the pandemic?
Is Corey still here?
He was.
No, I think he actually had to go. I don't see him on my list anymore. No, I know he's been doing, he worked a lot with with Modern Woodman. He had a lot of orphan policyholders we could contact to do reviews. That's where the bulk of his business has been. I know we've been starting up the marketing, doing workshops, doing some other things with him to get him in front of people. So we're slowly transitioning, but between virtual and face-to-face, there's really no difference. It's just a matter of just getting the right message out.
All right. Any other questions, guys? I know we answered a lot of them during the actual class.
Paul has a question. Go ahead, Paul.
It might be a dumb question, but you mentioned that Ben Feldman said something, and I missed what he said.
I think it was him. I'm trying to remember. I said that. I'm like, was it him who said that? And it's if you ask 100 people to buy life insurance, one will say yes. Because it's something that I was told to go out and try to do, and I couldn't buy a lead, buy a sale. That I was told by this mentor to go, or this other agent, go stand in front of Publix and on US 1 in Stuart, Florida, and ask 100 people to buy life insurance. One will buy. And I couldn't do it. I'm not going to ask. I can't do that. But
It's the most miserable. It's a miserable
thing.
way.
It's
Miserable
too
way of
It
hard.
works,
marketing.
but it's just a numbers. You're just playing the numbers game.
Numbers game at that point. And that's not, I want to expand my efforts on the right people that I have the best chance of making a sale to. I mean, if I was desperate, needed to make a sale, if I said make it so I can eat tomorrow, then I would do it. But it's not. There's a 1,000 better ways than standing in front of a supermarket asking people to buy life insurance.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I mean, that's you're one out of 100 people you're setting an appointment with. If you're doing it a better way, you can set 9 out of 10. It's a lot less effort
Absolutely.
required.
Yeah.
And a lot less emotionally stressful. Any other questions, guys?
I thought the role play that you and Alex did was beautiful,
Thank you.
because getting that conversation going with any one of those topics eventually is going to lead you to their problem. It can't help but do so.
Yeah.
So you can pick any one of those topics and get them to say what their problem is.
Yeah.
To verbalize it. So I thought that was real good.
Yeah, it's simple. I mean, it's you don't need any scripts. That's why I said I hate scripts. They're wasted time because if you're calling people and being robotic, repeating the same thing to everybody, it comes off that way. You don't convey your compassion and empathy for them. And that's an important part. And I'm going to send everybody an article I downloaded yesterday of one of my other agents because he has a problem connecting with people on the emotional level. He asks the right questions, but he's still not getting the point across. And I found this great article on empathy I'm going to share with you guys also because it does. It goes hand in hand. We have to convey that we care about our prospects, that we care, not just being robotic question askers, that we want to really help them. Because if you think about it, the guys that are most successful in this business care about their prospects. I look at my dad, for example. Every prospect or every client he had became a friend at the end of the day. We could call them on a dime, ask for help. They'd be over helping us move furniture. They would, I would go to people's homes. I mean, how many agents on this call have ever brought one of their children to a sales call? I've been on hundreds with my dad since I was 7 years old.
It's actually a ton of fun to take your kids.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a great icebreaker. I mean, I can't wait. I have grandkids now. I wouldn't bring my own kids to a meeting. I don't like them. But I love my grandkids. So they've been on numerous calls. Yeah.
Yeah, make an interesting conversation with the kids after the sales call.
Yes. Yes. It does. But I mean, it's fun. I mean, when you communicate with people and emotionally connect with people, it becomes a great fun business. And that's what it comes down to. It's more fun. You're helping people, and you're getting paid tons of money to do it if you're doing it right.
All right. Well, if no one has anything else, this meeting was recorded and it will be on the Marketing Sales Resource Center first thing tomorrow morning. You'll get an email confirming that. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Everyone make it a great day.
Yeah, I'll be sending those files out with that meeting recording. And again, everybody, thank you for coming. The guys that haven't been on the calls before, I thank you guys for coming out. And we'll see everybody next month. We have 3 classes next month coming up, and I think we have 2 more this month, Alex, or just 1 more this
Yeah.
month.
We have the live event, and then we have 2 classes after that.
Ugh, okay. I gotta start writing then. So we're always behind. But if you guys are throwing this up to you guys, this is one of our best meetings we've had, biggest meetings we've had on here. If you guys have topics that you want to see discussed, whether it's a roundtable, a case study, whatever, throw us some ideas. We have all kinds of stuff that we can talk about. We can talk for days. You know me, I can talk for days on anything. But what do you guys want to see in these? What is it you guys want to learn about?
Yeah, whenever you guys think of ideas, just send us an email.
Yep,
We take those to heart.
absolutely. Again, Corey, thank you for being here. Everybody, thanks for you guys for showing up. And if you have any questions, concern, my number's on the screen. I'm here basically 24/7 now, working from home. So call me. I'm here to help. All right. Everybody have a great day and a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
All right.